Thank you so much, Millicent Luamba, for that story. And moving on, former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga has cautioned Kenyans to brace themselves for a higher cost of living, stating that the next 3 months will be unbearable under President William Samoei Ruto's administration. Speaking at a meeting with Bunge la Wananchi on October 11th at Jivanjee grounds in Nairobi, Raila claimed that Ruto will struggle with explaining why the cost of living will not have reduced in that period, despite unveiling several measures to cushion Kenyans. He expressed that President William Ruto will not have the leeway to blame his predecessor, which is former President Uhuru Kenyatta, a tactic he adopted in the build-up to the August 9th polls. Bushebi Jr. reports.
Azimio One Kenya coalition has faulted President Ruto over lifting of GMO food ban.
Some effects of GMOs in Kenya outweigh the short-term benefits, if indeed there are any. Reverting after opening our doors to GMOs would be a Herculean task. I therefore urge each and every one of us to take time and research into the truths that I've shared with you this afternoon. We must safeguard the safety of our future generations and protect our sovereignty at all costs from manipulation and penetration by foreign entities.
The coalition says GMOs are a threat to the lives of Kenyans and companies that deal in seeds in the country. They risk being driven out of business owing to the entry of multinational companies.
They will not transform, my friend. They will die off. Kenya seed and the others, they can't match the level of competition by these multinationals. And I don't want to name names. We know them. They will die off. In fact, they will be clamped with heavy legal costs on infringement of intellectual property. They will die off. Let's wake up and think about this.
Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka says the government should have had national consultation before lifting the ban.
Science has shown gray areas as far as the safety of consumption of GMOs is concerned. This poses a grave challenge to already emaciated healthcare system in the long term. The dependence of GMOs on toxic herbicides is a threat to human health and the environment. The rush, therefore, to introduce GMO is alarming when the A-board in society, as well as many developed countries, are going organic. In fact, you go to any supermarket in Europe and you want to buy GMO food, the shop owners will tell you this is GMO, this is organic. And the organic food is more expensive than the GMO. This is the reality.
Mr. Musyoka says multinational sponsored skewed research that led to the lifting of the ban. He says Azimio will take the fight of GMO to Parliament.
Due to patents, our food system will be at the mercy of the multinational companies which own GMO technology, while our indigenous seeds and unique biodiversity will be facing extinction owing to the poor regulatory framework on GMOs in Kenya. In addition, Kenya fails to provide mechanisms for liability and redress in the event of possible harmful effects arising from the consumption and use of GMOs, or compensation for our farmers in case of contamination of the indigenous crops.
Bunge la Wananchi. Bunge la Wananchi.
Elsewhere, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has cautioned Kenyans to brace themselves for a higher cost of living, stating that the next 3 months will be unbearable under President William Ruto's administration.
Najua gharama imepanda juu zaidi. Najua kwamba bei ya unga imepanda.
Speaking at a meeting with Bunge la Wananchi on October 11th at the Jivanjee grounds, Raila claimed that Ruto will struggle with explaining why the cost of living will not have reduced in that period, despite unveiling several measures to cushion Kenyans.
Kama bei ya mafuta imepanda, nauli ya kutembea vile imepanda, kodi ya nyumba imepanda. Sio kila kitu imepanda na wananchi, mapato ya wananchi imebaki yale yale, zingine zimepunguzwa.
He expressed that the president will not have the leeway to blame his predecessor, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, a tactic he adopted in the building up to the August 9th general election. Further, he questioned Ruto's move to reintroduce GMOs, a decision he stated would flop, having been rejected in Europe. The former premier added that they will reject the decision ratified by the cabinet, citing health issues raised by experts. Nonetheless, he called on his supporters to remain calm, promising to keep the government in check. In the Tuesday meeting, Raila was accompanied by ODM MPs Babu Owino of Embakasi East, Felix Odwor, Elias Jalango of Langata, and Caleb Hamisi of Saboti, who echoed Raila's sentiments. For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Bishop Jr.